Welcome to the regular Freeholder meeting held on Wednesday, December 12, 2018 at 7 o'clock p.m. Have a roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Here.
Freeholder Patillo. Here. Freeholder Director Rhodes.
Present.
Freeholder Yardley.
Here. Can I have a moment of silence and salute to the flag, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Appeal 1975, adequate notice is defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, Appeal 1975 has been made by regular mail. Such notice being submitted on January 8, 2018 from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located on 1 Spring Street, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, and WNJ Radio. It's also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. No proclamations, certificates, and presentations. No public hearings. Public section from the floor. Comments limited to 5 minutes or less must only address issues regarding agenda items followed by a 3-minute response time for the Freeholder Board. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet. Could I have a motion to open the floor for public comment?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open for public comment. Seeing no one from the public, can I have a motion to close the floor for public comment and return to regular business?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is closed to the public. Freeholder comments? Freeholder Yardley?
No comments this meeting.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Well, term comes to a close soon, and I just thought I'd go over a few things that have happened over the past 3 years. We took office in 2016. The previous board left us with an administrator who was incapable of handling the job and gave us 2 to 3 days a week, and then left prematurely with an apparent illness. Subsequent result was a board without a key person. I believe that this was probably done intentionally to make the board fail. However, this board does not know the meaning of fail. We rose to the occasion under the leadership of Freeholder Graham. We took the reins and surged forward. We were dealing with a solar project which we desperately wanted to conclude, but were stymied at every turn by the professionals who could not handle the job. Finally, the Boxer report gave us a basis from which to move forward, but managing the county took precedence, and we engaged in the search for an administrator, which we were able to accomplish after several months of searching. At this point, most of the year was behind us. I'd like to note that Freeholder Graham led the board through that challenging period quite admirably and successfully. During this time, we toured the county, and we reviewed every bridge in the county and discovered some rather deplorable conditions. This board made a commitment to ourselves and to this county to rectify and engage the engineering department to tackle the job immediately, which they did under the guidance of Mr. Copenall, the Director of Engineering. Few people know what an awesome task this was. Now, funding for the roads does not include engineering soft costs, which can be substantial. So we were left with a project to be done, an awesome task for funding of roads. And over the past 3 years, we've made serious inroads into bridge and road repair, completing very large and complicating bridge projects, which I will refer to later, as well as several smaller ones throughout the county. I trust that the engineering department will keep the pressure on as we hired additional engineering to supplement our staff. All this while regular business of snow and weather, occasional storms and hurricanes continued. We handled them as they came to us. 2017, we hired a county administrator. We entered into an agreement with Byram Township for emergency communication services. We amended the county solid waste plant to provide for the operation of paste glass in Andover a major manufacturing operation which was coming into our county. Designated the county as stigma-free by adopting the Change in Direction campaign. Resolving outstanding engineering department title adjustments, we improved and elevated the engineering department to be able to hire better and more competent people to handle the task of our roads and bridges. County administrator engaged in hiring a library director and completing a 2017 safety grant, security improvements at the Cochran House, and receiving a 2018 safety grant, a security improvements for the prosecutor's office. There were parking lot improvements at the administrative center. Savings with statewide joint insurance fund renewal. We engaged in a joint program to streamline our insurance program. We received a 1603 grant award in excess of $2.6 million, which we used in the Department of Finance. Department of Health and Human Services awarded county partners for the year for NJC, the Cancer Education and Early Detection Program, led by Mary Baldwin Public Health Nursing by Atlantic Healthcare Systems. Created a Veteran Service Resource Portal. And in the Department of Engineering and Planning, we worked with the NPS toward de-icing material cooperative agreement. Bridge C-17 to Roseville Road in Byron was completed. If anybody's been there and seen that bridge with its towering arches, it's a spectacle that the county can be proud of. High-risk rural roads project, CR 622 and 653. CR 607 Maxim Drive maintenance work was done in the PACCON. Bridge X09 design and wattage. That's a massive undertaking. Gas line settlement on CR 17 and CR 669. Bridge 007, a replacement in Ogdensburg. CR 517 and Scenic Drive sightline work. Crack sealing program was updated. Bridge L10 repairs at Decker Road, Lafayette Township. Road resurfacing project. Road striping project. Bridge X08 repairs and wattage. PACCON street walls repairs. 2018, we were awarded a commitment for safety and loss control by statewide joint insurance fund. And that's a kudos to our staff and our supervisors for doing the things that they did to make sure that everybody had a safe and a good environment in which to work. We expanded the shared service for fire prevention services with Andover Borough. Reorganized the Office of County Counsel and Department of Finance and Library Services to improve operational efficiency and service delivery effectiveness. We hired an employee services director. Redesigned the county website, implemented a security certificate for the website. Department of Finance and Library Services affirmed a bond rating of AA+, stable, while our notes were assigned SP 1+, the highest rating that can be assigned to short-term notes. The library conducted a survey and series of community meetings to gather information about how the county residents use or wish they could use our facilities and services, and it developed a system needs assessment. And that is a constant, ongoing upgrade of our library services, which you may not know are very substantially used. Department of Health and Human Services held the first Sussex County Human Services Forum at the atrium of the County College Performing Arts Center, followed by a mental health forum held at the Romano Conference Center at Newton Medical Center. Social workers diligently assisted with relocation efforts for residents of Legends Resort in Vernon, ensuring a smooth transition into secure housing. Department of Engineering and Planning received Federal Lands Access Program grant for the Papacating Valley Rail Trail. Implemented overhead spray de-icing systems for the Vernon and Frankfurt Road maintenance facilities. Reestablished our relationship with the National Park Service for the storage and supply of de-icing materials. Bridge V55 repairs in Vernon Township. County Route 620 and Walnut Road retaining wall replacement in Sparta. Bridge X09 repairs in Wantage. Bridge D21 repairs in Frankfurt. Those are just the highlights of what goes on in county government behind the scene. We moved the meetings to 7 o'clock to make it more accessible for people, and all three of you are here today. I guess the videotaping makes it good television and popcorn stuff at home. I don't know. We had no payroll scandals, no solar scandals, but this board forged ahead a unified unit with a sensible, steady, responsible fiscal program to put the county government on a solid footing of fiscal responsibility and capable leadership for the future. We were judicious with tax dollars. We stabilized the budget and the taxes. I'm proud to say we leave this board with the county being in a better position, even though the challenges are evident for the next few years, and there will be challenges in the next few years. I believe we have created an environment and systems to handle those challenges successfully. As two of us leave this office this month, we leave the county government in capable hands and in a better place than when we received it. And finally, I thank everyone who supported us and gave us the privilege of serving Sussex County and its residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Brown.
Thank you, Carl. Carl's right. When we came in, or when Carl came in and Jonathan came in 2016, we were in a terrible situation. In 2015, in May of 2015, the county administrator, the county council, CFO, and the health director all retired at the same time on the same day. People who were put in place were not put in place because they were good for the job. They were put in place because they were handpicked. And it became a turmoil, a horrible turmoil. Carl was right. The administrator that was brought in really had no intention of staying. He was going to leave, and he got himself down to about 2 days a week. And then that became an ongoing dilemma because members of the board were hell-bent on making sure that we could not investigate or go back into anything having to do with solar. The main concern was to make sure that nobody who was attached to solar was going to ever be called out. But Jonathan and Carl took a mantle, took that on the challenge, and they did a lot. Just from my perspective, not from the county perspective, because I think that Carl covered it pretty heavily. Jonathan's transparency and process has really changed this board. I mean, every freeholder that leaves this board has a little bit of an outside ability to look and be critical, or, well, that didn't happen when we were there. But the reality is that this board is a heck of a lot more process-oriented and transparency-oriented than previous boards. We start off with agreeing with our agenda. Our agenda comes out days ahead. It is published, it is sent over to the newspaper, and it is locked in. That's what it is. In 2015, 16, and 17, members of this board felt it was incumbent on them to use any part of the agenda to change the agenda, which completely flew in the face of anything that had to do with transparency. So at the back of the agenda, you will find that it says new business or unfinished business. That was used as an opportunity to just throw things in there that had nothing to do with transparency. Jonathan brought us Robert's Rules. Jonathan brought us agenda. Jonathan brought us a conscience of how we were to present and make sure that everybody in the county was given an equal and open opportunity to comment on things. Carl brought passion. Those who've worked with Carl years before here know that Carl is tendency sometimes is to go to bluster. Carl can fill up a room with a lot of passionate words. But Carl also found where his places were. He went to roads and bridges. He went down to the Transportation Trust Fund every single month. That's not an easy task. That means you have to take out an entire day out of your life. You have to go down to Newark, You have to listen to all the other counties who are all grabbing the money that we should be getting a fair amount of, and we don't get a fair amount of. But Carl didn't suffer those fools any more gladly than Sue Zellman did in her day. And Carl, people in this county have a debt of gratitude for you staying with something that was hardly what you would call a high-profile position, but what you did was very important. A lot of bridges were taken care of, a lot of monies came into here. A lot of times, as Carl spoke before, some of the monies that is required for building bridges and roads requires what they call soft costs. Those are engineering costs and fees and attorney fees and such. None of that comes into the money that we receive from the state. With Carl and with our new county engineer, Bill Carpinell, they were able to find a way of keeping us moving even in those times when we did not have fully funded. Carl and Jonathan were also extremely important in replacing county administrator, county council, CFO, county engineer, an employment director, health and human services department, library, and the clerk of the board. In the health and human services department, that has its own layers. There was a 3-part plan, or something going on, where everybody wanted to gut the health department. They were looking to destroy the health department and scatter it all over the place. And we held firm, got it under control, appointed somebody that I think is highly qualified, and I think that has maintained that department in good stead the same way as Herb did when he was there. Solar. Solar was the reason why our lives changed. I found out about solar, I'd say a month after I became a freeholder, which is 6 years, it'll be 6 years in April. What a lot of people don't understand about solar is that we never owned it. We never owned anything about it. And these gentlemen, as well as everybody, as we brought in all of these new people, had to get their mind around it over and over again. It was, as I've said many times, it's we backed a loan for the dumb kid next door who bought a car. We co-signed his loan, and the kid wrecked the car, and that's basically what happened. We have no ownership, all we have is the bills. But what made it worse was the next step, and that was when they brought in the hand-picked contractor to finish out the second part of building out. We got stuck, we were less than 50%. That meant that all the money that we were putting out there, if we didn't have some revenue coming in, those bills were going to even be higher. So we had to build out as far as we could. And what members of this previous board did, and members of some other conspiracy out there, was put hand-picked contractors and then oversight people to build out, which was stymied every step of the way. Their job was not to build out. Their job was to make money. So we got stuck, we got hit, and then we got stuck and we got hit again. Carl and Jonathan. Jonathan in 2016 tried to get into that. It became difficult. For the first 6 months of 2016, we were just trying desperately to keep everything together and at the same time not allow this contractor to get the best of us. I spent 25 years in contracting. I spent a lot of years building things. And when I spent time in there, I knew what contractors do. I know how it's done. I could predict what they were going to do. But unfortunately, the county was never set up with oversight to be able to predict the same things. But I'm just, even as director, I'm just a politician. I'm not the administrator. When we brought in a good administrator, Mr. Pov, he stayed calm and walked us through the last end of it, including what we needed to do with the panels and what we needed to do to stay in one piece. I'm going to miss Carl and Jonathan very much. Jonathan particularly because when I needed somebody as my wingman against people that were hell-bent on burning the house down, you were there. And you didn't get emotional about it. You got clever about it. You used the rules the way that they were meant to be used. Carl, I've always said you're the big brother I never wanted. Your passion for life does not extend to this board, just extend to this board. Because right now it's 7:20, Carl will go home, Carl will get a call at 2 o'clock from the EMTs, and he will go out and he will take care of a poor woman who has a problem breathing. And then he will finally get to bed at 4 o'clock, and then he will get a call at 5:30 because there's an automobile accident on Route 94, and he will do that. And then at 9 o'clock, he will take phone calls for insurance policies that he has to do to make a living. I love both you guys. Thank you very much for everything you've done. And I hope that I did right by you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Deputy Director Patel.
Well, when I came on the board, things were a little better. At least we had a good grip on the issues that we were facing, and we worked together as a team. Carl, you were right, we worked as a team to put good professionals in place and to get the county stabilized. And I want to thank all of our staff because nothing really happens unless you have a staff that's competent, dedicated, and really committed to their job and to the residents as a whole. And we have a wonderful staff here, certainly the strength and the backbone of this county. We also, as Carl mentioned, had to tackle all the capital projects that were neglected for so long. I remember first sitting on the capital meeting and seeing the pictures of trucks and things held together with nothing more than tape, and wondering how many years have they neglected to really put a program in place or a 5 or 10 year plan that would have gotten them through. So we're doing a lot of things with capital, and what you read is really just a few of them. There's so many more that we've been tackling and working on as well. I want to say that I've enjoyed working with both of you. I've known Carl for a long time, and getting to know Jonathan has been fun. And I thank you for all that you went through to help this board stabilize this county, and I really appreciate it as a resident and a taxpayer of this community. And I want to just wish you the best as you go forward off of this board, wherever you decide to go in politics. I'm sure both of you will end up somewhere else. With your experience, wherever you end up, we'll be very lucky to have you. I felt very lucky to be with you, and I just want to thank you again.
Thank you. Approval of consent agenda. Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. Any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. Nothing to be removed. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Patel, second by Graham. Discussion.
All right, I'm going to do my best not to lose my voice, and I'll try to keep it brief.
Don't lose your place.
Yeah, that too. All right, the first resolution is authorizing an agreement with Newton Medical Center for diagnostic services in support of the NJC, which is the cancer detection work that's done in the county. Second resolution is authorizing for adult protective services with the Division of Social Services. Resolution C provides for the senior transportation program. Why it's referred to as STOP, it actually should be referred to as GO, with the Office of Transit for the period of next year. Resolution D provides for assisted transportation with senior services and Skylands Ride. Resolution E provides for care management and outreach with the Division of Social Services. Resolution F authorizes the execution of a contract for Human Services and the Human Services Advisory Council. The Resolution G authorizes an execution of contract for personal assistance with the Department of Health and Human Services, the Division of Community and Youth Services. Resolution H authorizes the execution of an agreement for Workforce New Jersey and the Transportation Block Grant Fund with the Division of Community and Youth Services. Resolution I provides for the execution of a contract for homeless shelter and rental assistance for the period of 2019. Resolution J is a contract modification that provides for sexual assault intervention services with Daisy. Resolution K provides for contract modification with the Center of Prevention and Counseling for the provision of recovery and support services. Resolution L, again, is a contract modification for the provision of substance abuse treatment services. Resolution M authorizes contract modification, again, for additional adult substance abuse treatment services. Resolution N and O both rescind contract amounts for both female and male halfway housing services. The reason for these contracts being rescinded is that the state of New Jersey is in fact providing these services, and therefore the monies will be returned to the state of New Jersey. Resolution P authorizes a shared services agreement with Hopatcong Borough for the Congregate Nutrition Program. Resolution Q provides the same for Franklin Borough. Resolution R provides the same service with Vernon Township. Resolution S provides for contract execution with the New Jersey Department of Child and Families for Youth Incentive Program services. Resolution T provides for contract with the Department of Human Services, Division of Mental Health, for funding of mental health services with the Division of Community and Youth Services. Resolution U authorizes the provision of legal assistance through Legal Services of Northwest New Jersey. Resolution V provides for Congregate Nutrition Program for Newton Medical Center. Resolution W provides for food service for weekday and weekend home delivered meals, again through Newton Medical Center. Resolution X provides for home delivered meals weekday and weekend with Catholic Family and Community Services. Resolution Y provides for the award of a residential maintenance program to Norwest Cap. Resolution Z provides for certified home health aid and housekeeping services with ResCare, New Jersey. Resolution AA provides for the agreement with Pello & Associates for on-call engineering services. BB is for professional services with Newton Urgent Care for physician services that are utilized by the jail. Resolution CC is entering into an agreement with Dentrust Dental, again for dental care to the inmates at the jail. DD is for the purchase of a storage expansion module through Software House International. This is a 2018 capital project. We have Resolution EE, which is an extraordinary unspecifiable service with JBI Limited. This is a contract that the county has entered into before with these services, identifying additional sources of funding and for grant programs specifically targeting the jail. Resolution FF provides for renovations to the sheriff's office. This is an authorized capital project. Resolution GG is for the purchase of software maintenance support with Granicus, who is the contractor that provides software services in support of the county clerk's office. Resolution HH is for the purchase of vehicles. This is part of the county's annual fleet management replacement program. Resolution II provides for a change in title in the budget
For the job access and reverse commute services, it is the grant match that the county provides for those services. And resolutions JJ and KK are both Chapter 159s that allow for the insertion of an item of revenue and the corresponding appropriation for grant monies received by the county.
Thank you, Administrator. Any further comments?
I just have a question. Going to AA, no, I'm sorry. Not AA. You. Is that part of our legal budget?
No, these are for legal assistance services that are
Through the courts?
available for low-income people in need of legal services.
So does this run through the courts?
This is actually handled through the Legal Services of Northwest New Jersey, a nonprofit corporation.
I have a conflict with Harold E. Powell and Associates, so I'm going to abstain on the entire thing. Any further comments?
Yeah, do we have the amounts? Is it the amount appropriate pursuant to right here in the funding that we, hold on.
Aye.
Okay, never mind.
You okay?
Yeah.
Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Abstain.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on November 28, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro, second by Patillo. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes in the executive session from September 12, 2018, September 26, 2018, October 24, 2018, November 16, 2018, and November 28, 2018?
Excuse me to interrupt you.
Second.
May I just make one comment, just so everyone understands? This was an oversight on my part. These minutes had been prepared and distributed in a timely fashion, but I failed to list them in the following agendas. We didn't have a closed session in August, and it fell off my template. So that's why we're getting it on the record that they were indeed approved.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion.
I had, is the November 28th one where I had some issues? I had sent an email back.
You had made a comment, but I didn't get your exact comments on that. Would you like to hold these minutes so I can get your exact
Just the-
comments?
Just that one.
So you want to hold the November 28th
Yeah.
for
Oh,
approval
vote
for
on
the
it, yeah.
next meeting?
So, Freeholder Yardley, if you would make a motion to amend the approval of the minutes to remove the November 28, 2018 executive session approval.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Yardley, second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor, you are now voting on the amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Any further comments on the executive session as amended, which is September 12th, September 26th, October 24th, and November 16th, with the exclusion of November 28th? Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. No appointments and/or resignations. Resolutions A and B. Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions?
I'll make,
Motion by
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion.
Yes, Resolution A is self-explanatory. This will authorize an agreement with Branchville Borough for the enforcement of fire prevention services. Branchville Borough recently adopted the shared services agreement at their most recent meeting. This will allow the Office of the County Fire Marshal to provide those services to the borough. B, as previously reported, represents a settlement agreement between the county and Track Engineering, who is the firm that was responsible for the implementation of the county's fuel management system. That system has had a number of problems, And this settlement agreement provides for the replacement of the system in its entirety at no additional cost to the county.
Thank you, Mr. Poff. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the resolutions are passed. Awards of contract, change orders, bids A through C. Do I have a motion to approve the contracts, change orders?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion.
Yes, Resolution A provides for the acquisition of materials that are used by the Office of Bridge and Traffic Safety for pavement markings. Resolution B is for the award of a contract extension to AKF Engineers who have provided electrical engineering services in support of the county's communications center. And Resolution C provides for a contract extension for the county's uniform supply and laundry services contract.
Thank you. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Financial, resolution regarding payment of bills from Bill List A from December 12, 2018.
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro.
Second.
Second by Yardley. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Abstain.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Abstain.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve bills from Bill List B, resolution regarding payment of bills, Bill List B, December 12, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro, second by Yardley. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
I'm sorry. Resolution regarding transfer of 2018 current appropriations. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo,
Second.
second by Yardley. Discussion.
This provides, as the Freeholder Board has considered over the last few meetings, provides for the transfer of current fund appropriations consistent with the recommendation of the county treasurer in a number of areas, including the Board of Elections, fleet management, records management, emergency management, and the Board of Taxation.
Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Introduction for first reading ordinance. Ordinance regarding ordinance to amend the Sussex County Administrative Code published in 1989, last revised August 10, 2016. Can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Patillo. Discussion.
You get it?
I'll kick this off if you want. Freeholders Graham and Lazaro, thank you for your time on the Transparency Committee. That's what led to the creation of this ordinance. Just going through it very quickly. It adds a paragraph regarding public meetings. It says all regularly scheduled public meetings as set forth in the schedule issued annually by the clerk of the board shall be audio and video recorded and a link posted to the county's website no later than 2 business days after the regular scheduled meeting or as soon as practical. That there is a resolution already that the Freeholder Board passed several years ago to begin video recording. This adds that to the administrative code. The rules of procedure, there is a set of required items in the agenda. This was slightly modified. There was some removed, and in particular, the big changes are that the moment of silence now comes after the flag salute rather than before it. There's 2 public comments, the first one being for items on the agenda, the second being for any items, and also it says that regular meetings shall include these. It does give some flexibility to future boards in case we're going to have another meeting would be held, let's say at the VOTEC, where there was all these items on the agenda that had nothing to really do with the meeting that was being held over there. There's also an addition in the rules and procedures, a new paragraph added that says all executive session minutes shall be reviewed at least every 6 months, and items no longer subject to executive privilege will be released to the public. This is already set forth in the resolution that we use to go into executive session, but this sort of codifies it that a regular review of those minutes will be conducted. It also changes or adds is section 2.9, clerk A3. The sentence it adds says deadline to make changes to the meeting is the close of business 48 hours prior to the scheduled meeting. At such time, the meeting agenda, addendums, and all supporting documentation shall be posted on the county website adhering to the same schedule. And what this does is it freezes the agenda 48 hours prior to the meeting. It says the effect of not allowing last-minute changes to be made to the agenda, which has not been a problem on this board even in the years that we're in turmoil, but I've seen other boards have an issue with that. It adds, revises the first paragraph of Article 9, independent boards, agencies, and offices, and it says that the boards, agencies, and operated offices that are enumerated below, and the county has many boards, agencies, and offices. They'll have a direct liaison with the county administrator regarding countywide administrative procedures, and the real change here is they shall post meeting agendas and minutes in a timely nature on the county website. I believe that the Transparency Committee only saw 2 boards that weren't posting stuff on a timely basis. So it's already mostly in place. This is just codifying what's already occurring.
I think, and one of those, if not both of those, had to do with the schools, and it had to do
One
with
the Rutgers Cooperative, which doesn't really
Right.
mean.
But the
Right.
one with the schools had to do with the fact that you can't approve the agenda until the following year. You don't have a meeting behind that.
Essentially one per year.
Right, so
Yeah.
that gets, unless there's another meeting that occurs in the calendar year, I don't know how you get around that.
Right. Well, this can be done as long as when the minutes are approved, then they get posted, so. And then Article 11 Advisory Group, the first paragraph should be revised to say that in addition to what may otherwise be established or authorized in this code, there shall be the following advisory groups within the county of Sussex. These advisory groups are to post meeting information on the county website in a timely nature. Same thing, just basically saying that you need to post any advisory group that meets needs to post on the county website to say where they're meeting and when they're going to meet. So those are the changes, relatively minor, but it does arise out of transparency.
Has this been, Dennis, Kevin, have you reviewed this and have you had time to review this? And just meet all of the obligations that we need to meet?
Well, I'm sorry, I was, as I think some of you know, I was out sick for about the past 6 days. I came back today and I was able to, before the meeting, take a look at this. I had not seen it until, about 2 hours ago.
Well, all right, that is a concern that I have. I don't object to working on this. I think this needs to be incorporated with what I was told were conversations that we were going to do some work on the administrative code, which didn't happen this year. I think that this should be incorporated with other things that have to be changed, and this should be on the agenda for next year. I think I'd like to know what the impact is, if there's any, on reg, or if there's any financial impacts, and whether this would cause any problems with if we have an emergency, and we don't have that 48 hours. I don't know if that's addressed in here from a legal point of view.
Well, I can comment on that,
Okay.
on those items,
Okay.
if you want.
Well, I think that we're moving forward now in December to put something that will take effect in January of next year, which should be an entire thing where we're going to look at the administrative code, and this should be incorporated with that and changes, because there are changes that I had asked about on the administrative code. And I think you need to have a couple of freeholders and the administrator or the attorney, I don't know that process, to look at the code, and then we review the code. It's my understanding that we look at the code, there's some meetings, and we change that.
Did you have more changes than this? Is that what it?
Well, no, not on this. I'm not even, I've just got this, and I don't know what the impact, is on our operation.
Well, some of these have been around for a while.
Okay.
And they've been intended to be done.
I just don't know Here it is, the end of the year, last minute, we're doing this.
Well,
I
here's
am
a bigger
concerned.
Because the
problem
committee's
here.
been meeting for 6 months and we just terminated the meetings and had a final meeting last 2 weeks in November. And that was a committee of George and myself and Lourdes and two other civilians, shall we say.
But one of the problems that we have, because it's so late, is that this would really carry over until next year in order to adopt it. So you would have to have a special meeting so that it doesn't carry over to next year, it's done within this year, right?
I did ask about that, whether it could be introduced now and then adopted in 2019, and the answer is no.
Yeah, unfortunately, that,
Yeah.
it's a famous case about that.
But there's-
But you can't split it because it's two different bodies.
And there's another aspect too, or following up with you, that we had to make some administrative code changes a few years ago. It was done sloppy. And had it been done properly, it would have been fine. It was not done properly, but I know, I was the director at the time, and I felt having to get the changes done was more important than all the I's dotted across the T's. I would never want to be a part of that again. I think that what you need is you need underlines, cross-outs. You need it all laid down. I know that Greg has other administrative code changes that you wanted to integrate to clean up some of that sloppiness from a few years ago that should have been done correctly then. And some of them are just grammatical. Some of them can't be read more than one way. And I agree with you, Herb, that it would be a good idea to look at it in a more holistic way. That's my opinion. The changes that we discussed here, most of these were already in place. It's just we're doing them as a matter of fact, as a matter of course. And this is locking it down. Sometimes I like to see a little bit of flexibility in our abilities to conduct a meeting.
And that's why I think this needs to be done next year in a bigger, with everybody saying, here's what I think, or here's a change, or have some time to think about it, and give it a time limit. Say, you know, it has to be done in 90 days. We pick some time so it doesn't drag on.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And because I'd like to see the big picture of all of those grammatical things. I remember seeing some of those things and the interpretations. And so I think that's where I'm coming from. Nothing more.
So what do we need to do now to move that into place, considering we've motioned this?
Well, it would be, so one of two things could occur if it's the freeholder board's pleasure to not pass this. One would be to make a motion to lay this upon the table. But perhaps a better way to do it would just be to vote it down. If there's more than 3 votes, 3 no votes, then it would fail.
And then we pick it up next year.
I think that would be unfortunate because the committee worked for several months to develop this, and this was the end result of their
But that's
work.
gonna
But
be-
3 of us aren't going to be here to vote on it, is what I'm saying. You don't have the quorum that you need to vote this through.
Yeah, so there
At
was,
the
there
adoption,
would need.
we're not going to be here.
And nobody's saying it's not going to move forward.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Because
just going to say.
I think
We're not-
we're
we're not-
doing.
Those aren't gonna be
we're
here.
We're not
doing-
rejecting what was said in the committee, because I think that everything that was there was valid, and the people that were involved were valid.
Any further discussion? A roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
No.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
No.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
We have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this resolution as introduced for first reading and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with a notice of public hearing stating that hearing will be held on December 26, 2018, 1 o'clock p.m. prior to final adoption of this ordinance. Seeing no motions or second, we'll move on. Personnel, resolution regarding authorized personnel agenda of December 12, 2018. Got a motion to approve the personnel agenda?
So,
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion?
This is a creation of a part-time position of library associate within the Division of Library Services.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Administrative report.
Yes, thank you. As you're aware, there was a fire at the high rise here in the town of Newton today. I immediately received a call from the Division of Social Services offering assistance to those that may have been displaced. As the board and the public may be aware, the American Red Cross takes precedence in the immediate aftermath of a disaster like that. And when the Red Cross leaves, then our Division of Social Services can step in to be of assistance if there are any short or longer term needs. I, after speaking with the Division of Social Services, immediately reached out to the town manager, Tom Russo, and offered any assistance that our Division of Social Services could provide. So just wanted to let everybody know that the county is willing and able to provide assistance to those that may have been displaced as a result of the fire. This Friday, I will be attending the last meeting of the year of the New Jersey Association of Counties. The final meeting of the year, they always hold a county summit on some particular item of interest. This year, the county summit is on active shooter preparedness and Freeholder Lazzaro's favorite topic, 911 systems. The speakers are actually very interesting. They are having a number of law enforcement officials speak about active shooter preparedness. In addition, they are going to have some freeholders, some subject matter experts, as well as the Monmouth County Sheriff talk about the 911 systems. And the keynote speaker is Caitlin Roy DeBellis, who was a Sandy Hook Elementary School teacher who survived the tragedy in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. So it should be a very interesting meeting. As you all are aware, the New Jersey Association of Counties provides a great deal of support to the counties, and so I look forward to attending along with Freeholder and Lazzaro. That concludes my report.
Thank you. County Council report?
Sure. I have just two litigation items. As I think you know, the lawsuit, our lawsuit against the contractors and subcontractors in the Cochran House project has been filed and is being served. So that's moving forward. The Balzano litigation has also been settled, and the paperwork on that is being circulated, and you'll see it very soon. So, one resolved.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yes.
Any unfinished business? Any new business? Public session from the floor. Please note everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less, followed by a 3-minute response time from the Freeholder Board. Please state your name and print your name and file down the sign sheet. That motion to open the floor for public comment. Motion by Lazar.
Second.
Second by Tillo. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public.
Hi, good evening. My name's Peter Knight. I reside in Frankfurt. Just wanted to give a personal thank you to Freeholder Lazzaro and Freeholder Rose for their service this past elected term of 3 years. I think they did an admirable job, and I think most people know the sacrifice and commitment that is made by people that serve on this. So my personal thanks and respect for a job well done.
Anyone else from the public?
John Snyder, Sanderston. I just want to express my disappointment. I wasn't at the last meeting, but apparently no action was taken on the solar. If I understand, the time limit is up now as far as taking any litigation action. So I'm estimating, what, $550,000 to be spent on a study and something else recently for $50,000. I'm not sure what that was. And I think in our current budget, Mr. Pop, is it 2.1 million?
That's $2 million.
$2 million?
This year.
And what's it anticipated for next year? Do you have any idea?
It will be at or below $2 million.
And it was mentioned earlier, I think by Mr. Graham, that some of the costs being offset by the fact that it was built out. And I'm just wondering how much money have we gotten in the last year has been generated by the solar installations?
I don't have those figures in front of me.
A little over $1 million. If we're gonna throw it out there.
Around
We're
numbers?
about $3.3 million is what it costs us a year in bonds. And then we generate a little over $1 million, so it comes down to about $2 million. But a lot of that, there's also a lot of costs. There's about $250,000 just to oversee it. So it's a privilege to pay this money.
And in the future, I guess, I read in the paper maybe 2 months ago about the issues up there in Vernon and Mountain Creek with the municipal waste and the dispute going back and forth between the two as to who's going to pay this and defaulting on. And it's a possibility that it's all going to fall back on the county.
It's still.
Everything's a possibility.
Yeah, but that's still, it's still in negotiation.
Well, yeah, everything's a possibility.
Well, it's very remote at this,
It is?
at this point in time it is.
That's
We have an
good.
interest to protect in the matter, and we brought in a particular firm with expertise just to advise us properly, but that matter looks like it's going to resolve itself.
Good. Nice to have good news.
It would be nice.
I also would like to thank Mr. Lazaro and Mr. Rose for their 3-year service, also for attending a number of our Tea Party meetings. You're all welcome to come. Want to hear a right-wing radicals. And I'd like to wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Seeing no one from the public, I have a motion to close the floor for public comment, return to regular order of business.
So moved.
Motion by Rizzo,
Second.
Second.
This out.
Is there a
Or I'll second.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the floor is closed to the public. Give the reminders, no executive session is necessary tonight. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Patillo.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it, the meeting is adjourned.